What if I told you that a kid who grew up in one of the toughest housing projects in Brooklyn, surrounded by crime, poverty, and the daily pressure of survival, would one day become one of the most powerful business moguls in the world? What if I told you that this same young man, once doubted by record labels, rejected by the music industry, and forced to sell his own CDs out of the trunk of his car, would eventually sit at tables with billionaires, presidents, and global influencers? Yes, I'm talking about Sean Corey Carter, better known as Jay-Z. This is not just a story of rap. This is not just a story of hip-hop. This is a story of mindset, strategy, resilience, and an unshakable belief in one's vision. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why some people, despite starting from nothing, rise to the very top of wealth and influence, while others stay stuck in the same place year after year? What separates a rapper who fades into obscurity from one who transforms into a global powerhouse, building empires that span music, fashion, tech, real estate, and sports? By the end of this video, you'll see how Jay-Z mastered the game of money, power, and respect, and more importantly, the lessons you can apply to your own journey, no matter where you're starting from. So before we dive deep, pause for a moment. Have you subscribed to this channel yet? If not, stop right now and hit that subscribe button. Why? Because here, we don't just tell stories, we break down strategies, mindsets, and lessons that can change your life. And to my returning subscribers, thank you for always rocking with us. You're the real family. Now, let's dive into the untold story of Jay-Z's rise from the projects to a billion-dollar empire. Chapter 1: The Streets as a Classroom. Jay-Z grew up in Marcy Projects, Brooklyn, a place many considered hopeless. Crime, drugs, and poverty weren't exceptions, they were the daily reality. But here's what most people miss. The streets became Jay-Z's first business school. When survival is the name of the game, you quickly learn about supply, demand, risk, and reputation. You learn negotiation, branding, and how to build influence. Jay-Z has admitted he wasn't proud of his early hustling days, but those experiences taught him lessons that Harvard Business School couldn't. Question for you: have you ever considered how your toughest struggles might actually be shaping you for success? What if the environment you're in right now is your classroom, preparing you for the bigger stages of life? Jay-Z turned pain into power. Where others saw only limits, he trained himself to see opportunities. And that mindset carried over into music. Chapter 2: Betting on Himself. Rewind to the early 1990s. Jay-Z was chasing a rap career, but the music industry wasn't interested. Labels turned him down, executives doubted him. Most people would have quit. But not Jay-Z. Instead of waiting for a handout, he created his own lane. Along with Damon Dash and Kareem "Biggs" Burke, he launched Rockefeller Records. Think about that for a second. He didn't just want to rap, he wanted ownership. That move alone separated him from most artists of his generation. While others begged for contracts, Jay-Z built his own. Lesson here: don't just be a player in someone else's system. Create your own system. Imagine if you stopped waiting for opportunities to come and instead built your own door. That's exactly what Jay-Z did. And when he finally released his debut album, Reasonable Doubt, it became the foundation of a legacy. Chapter 3: Turning Music into a Brand. Here's where Jay-Z leveled up. He didn't just see himself as a rapper, he saw himself as a brand. From his lyrics to his style, to the way he carried himself, everything was intentional. He wasn't just selling music, he was selling an image, a lifestyle, a story. And then came the smart moves. The launch of Rocawear, his clothing line, which at its peak generated $700 million a year in sales. Later, investments in beverages like Armand de Brignac Champagne and Dus Cognac. Partnerships with tech companies, sports agencies, and streaming platforms like Tidal. Jay-Z understood that music was only the beginning. The real wealth was in owning the culture. Quick question: if someone looked at your life today, Would they see just a job title, or would they see a brand? Something bigger than a paycheck? Chapter 4: Mindset of a Mogul. At the core of Jay-Z's success is his mindset. He constantly repeats one principle: I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. That's deeper than it sounds. It means everything he does, everything he touches, is connected to a bigger vision. Here are a few key mindset lessons Jay-Z lives by. Ownership over labor. He didn't want just royalties, he wanted equity. Long-term thinking. While many rappers chased quick money, Jay-Z invested in assets that grew over decades. Expanding beyond one lane. He didn't box himself into rap. He saw himself as a global influencer. Think about it. Are you living like an employee of life, or are you thinking like the CEO of your destiny? Chapter 5: Partnerships and Power Moves. Jay-Z's rise wasn't solo. He built powerful partnerships. From teaming up with Beyoncé to merging business with artistry. From launching Roc Nation Sports to managing athletes. Jay-Z showed that collaboration creates leverage. And then there's his ability to play chess, not checkers. He turned business rivals into partners, bought into companies most people underestimated, and flipped culture into cash flow. One of his boldest moves? Selling part of his stake in Tidal to Jack Dorsey's Square, now Block Incorporated. A deal worth $297 million. Lesson: success isn't just about hard work, it's about strategic moves that multiply your impact. Chapter 6: The Billion-Dollar Mindset, Beyond Music and Money. Jay-Z's transformation from rapper to billionaire mogul wasn't just about knowing the right people, having talent, or being in the right place at the right time. It was about shifting his mindset from short-term wins to long-term wealth creation. Think about it. Most artists get a paycheck and immediately spend it on luxury cars, parties, and fleeting fame. But Jay-Z had a principle: I'm not just going to spend money, I'm going to make money work for me. Instead of blowing cash on liabilities, he invested in assets. He turned profits into businesses. He scaled ventures, not purchases. This is the very same principle you and I can adopt today. You don't need to be a rapper to think like a mogul, you just need to develop the billionaire mindset. Here's what that looks like. Ownership over appearances. Jay-Z wasn't obsessed with looking rich, he was obsessed with being rich. That's why he bought into brands rather than buying from them. Leverage over labor. He learned how to make money flow in while he slept, building systems that didn't require him to constantly trade time for cash. Vision over validation. While others sought quick fame and applause, Jay-Z was building an empire that would outlast trends, music charts, and even his own career. Now, imagine if more of us thought this way. Imagine if instead of upgrading our cars every 2 years, we upgraded our investments. Imagine if instead of chasing validation from social media likes, we focused on long-term value creation. Jay-Z's billionaire mindset teaches us this. Wealth is a strategy, not a status symbol. It's about patience, discipline, and delayed gratification. And while not all of us will become billionaires, applying these principles can put us on the path to financial freedom. Conclusion: the rise of a mogul. From hustling on the streets of Brooklyn to owning billion-dollar businesses, Jay-Z's journey is proof that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. He redefined what was possible, not just for artists, but for entrepreneurs everywhere. His story challenges us to ask, am I thinking big enough? Am I just chasing income, or am I building legacy wealth? Because if Jay-Z could transform his struggles into streams of wealth, maybe the only thing standing between us and success is mindset. And that's the hidden blueprint behind Jay-Z's rise from rapper to mogul. But here's the truth, this isn't just Jay-Z's story. This can be your story too. The same principles of ownership, patience, and vision that built Roc Nation and Tidal can be applied to your own life. You may not start a record label tomorrow, but you can start investing in your future today. Whether that's a side hustle, learning a new skill, or putting your money into assets instead of things that lose value. So let me ask you this. What's the first step you're going to take to build your legacy? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear how you're applying the mogul mindset in your own journey. And hey, if you found Jay-Z's story inspiring, imagine what you'll learn from the journeys of other self-made billionaires. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. Together, we're unlocking the hidden strategies of the world's greatest wealth builders. Remember this, success leaves clues. Jay-Z left a map. And now, it's your move.